xQc is secretly richer than every influencer you know. Huh.
June 2023, xQc signs a $100 million deal with Kick. A guy who spends 12 hours a day playing video games is suddenly being compared to NBA stars.
That was an advertised number. I think there was like equity in that, and it was like over the course of X amount of time, and that was like also budgeting to do stuff. I don't know what all went into it. I'd love to have seen an actual breakdown. A big reason why Kick did that in the first place was because of this right here. Having that shock factor, streamer signs $100 million deal all over the internet and news, helped Kick so much.
$100 million deal with Kick. A guy who
worth $100 million.
Playing video games is suddenly being compared.
That's not to fucking shit on that, by the way. I feel, okay, that sounds pretty petty. That sounds like we're like, oh, he didn't actually make 100. That's more money than we will probably see in our life. So it's hats off to xQc.
Compared to NBA stars. But that contract is only a slice of a fortune, now estimated at over $500 million.
Jesus.
How did xQc stack that kind of money? And why does it keep dragging him into public feuds with the internet's biggest names?
I'll be holding my composure, but that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that xQc and Kai like went back and forth like comparing like shit.
Oh my God, shut up! And what I said was cap, call cap on it.
They were talking about this deal in mainstream media and more than LeBron. It was a shock factor PR cost is what it was.
2018, xQc logs onto Twitch, no longer wearing his Overwatch League jersey. His streams are loud, chaotic.
Wait, he was... I actually didn't even know that about him. He was... Hold on, before I say this. There's a whole era where I missed a lot of like where these guys came from. Okay, so don't fucking scold me on that. He was pro in Overwatch? Really? He was good at FPS, even if you don't believe it. God tier Overwatch player? Really? So he played competitive. Is that so that where he got a lot of his like grounding from? That's always dope to hear.
He's averaging 20,000 concurrent viewers, often peaking over 50,000. That means tens of thousands of paid subs. In 2020, a Twitch earnings leak revealed that he'd made $8.4 million over 2 years, just from Twitch.
Wow.
At the same time, his YouTube highlights channel exploded. That pulled in another $200,000 to $300,000 a year. He also picked
probably
up
more
sponsorships, gaming companies, energy drinks, even a short stint with an esports org. By early 2021, xQc was making around $4 million a year, all from content.
He was actually one of the folks that actually made it by himself. Really?
X streamed absurd hours every single day, often going live 10 to 12 hours without breaks, and rarely, if ever, taking days off. Burnouts, bans, and meltdowns happen regularly, but instead of pushing viewers away, they brought more in. By the end of 2021, he became one of Twitch's most watched streamers. And what came next would make everything before look small.
See, this is why videos like this are awesome. This is why I'm glad that creators make content like this, because I had no idea about that. That like he grinded that hard. I think a lot of people actually did, but like it's just cool to see that like he really like was a part of this culture and put a lot of time and energy into this. You know what I mean? Same with Shroud. Yeah.
xQc added a new type of content, gambling streams. Fan estimates put his deal between $3 and $5 million a year. In early 2023, he casually said on stream that he'd wagered over $3 billion.
Well, yeah.
In one session, he lost $300,000, shrugged it off, and kept going. It became a regular part of the content.
By the way, the wagered number seems insane, but like wagering is not like total money in. That's like you win some, you lose some, you win some, you lose some, and it's the amount that you wager in general during a whole entire yeah, what was his bet size? Exactly. Wagering $1 billion isn't like he just like threw in $1 billion of his money and gambled with it. People don't understand that.
These streams pulled huge numbers. The gambling content sparked controversy, but it worked. And for xQc, it was more profitable than anything else he'd done before. By mid-2023, rumors started circulating that xQc was negotiating with Kick. Then came the official deal. $70 million guaranteed. With
there it is. Major news outlets like New York Times were the first to repost the $100 million deal. As per reports, expected to receive in base payment $70 million. I think that was over the course of 2 years, with an additional $30 million to be paid in incentives. Like maybe like doing, if you hit X amount of hours, yada, yada, yada.
The total, $100 million over 2 years, and no exclusivity, meaning he could still freely stream on Twitch and other platforms.
What's his routine like now? Does he just multi-stream, or does he still do he'll go live on Twitch for X amount of time, then he goes live on X for X amount of time?
Bigger than most sports contracts. Kick saw him as the one streamer who could bring legitimacy to their platform. While still earning on Twitch and YouTube, his setup didn't change. Still the same routine. His first major buy was a McLaren 720S Spider, worth around $300,000.
Solid car. I heard fun to drive, shit to own.
Have a license yet.
What?
Then came the Ferrari SF90 Stradale, which can cost over $600,000.
Yeah, that's a nice car.
Next came watches. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, coming in at $456,000, followed by other rare watches, each one of them making an appearance on stream. Fans have speculated that X's watch collection is over $50 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got some expensive watches.
His brother, a Porsche 911.
Oh my god.
RS.
RS, yeah.
That was another $200,000.
Yeah.
Plus. At this point, xQc wasn't trying to hide his money. He was showing exactly.
Oh, dude, I mean, you get to a certain point, it's just like the flaunting is kind of but you get to a certain point, it's like, guys, these are, if you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you're talking like, what's the comparison? Like, if you have $10,000, you spending $100 on something is going to be like, you're going to care way less. When you have hundreds of millions of dollars, these are small purchases to him, I guess. But does he need an investment? I'm sure he has invested quite a bit into crypto throughout the years, and other things as well. A lot of these streamers do. A lot of streamers in general do. On top of that as well, while they are flashy items, like just the 3 cars that he shared, those are going to hold their value really fucking well throughout the next like 5 to 10 years. And then all those watches, some of those watches are going to go up in value.
Between xQc and Kai Cenat,
he has more money in Bitcoin than, yeah.
But that's where it escalated. It began when X made a passing comment criticizing streamers who bought views and rely on celebrity collabs for content.
That's kind of, I don't think there's any room to like knock either one of those. It is kind of crazy to think about how X built his following, not needing to do like the whole collab thing. Even Asmongold, think of like Asmongold. I mean, there's probably a handful of creators that we can think of. They didn't need some kind of outside source to do their shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, being homegrown.
While he never mentioned Kai directly,
that's not the shit on Kai or any of these guys neither.
Inevitably, he reached a breaking point and fired back on stream by saying,
Felix, let me tell you something, Felix, okay? I'll be holding my composure, but that, you.
Wow.
Dead ass, bro. If you gonna be on some funny shit, stop, bro. Like, dead ass, gang.
It was an open challenge, not just to xQc's ego, but to his entire net worth. X didn't back down.
Cause we can do whatever you want to do. Watch for watch, house for
Oh no. No. Come on. You did not want to go band for band. We're not going there.
House M for M, I'm with it.
We're not.
You can't do that with me. So don't try to do on some
kind of funny, kind of cringe.
Hold on. And I'm very humble, gang.
I got AMP's entire net worth on a one USB stick in some sticky deposit box.
I remember that.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
The tension wasn't
I remember
just
that.
for show. These were two of Twitch's biggest creators publicly calling each other out.
That's not bad. Very nice. Very nice. Damn. Reminds me of the up and coming days when I used to be broke as fuck. I used to have one of these.
Here I'm sitting with my Omega watches. I like my fucking Omega watches, man. Fuck off. Come on, man. Fuck off, dude. Sorry I can't afford a $100,000 watch right now.
The humble days, chat. The humble days, man. I hope he makes it. Much love, man.
It wasn't.
It's rage bait. It's rage bait. Like the guys, also too, it's good to point out that while this is articulated as like these guys going after each other, if those two around that time were to get in the same room or go hang out with each other, I guarantee they would like come on, man, why did you have to say that? You guys gotta understand, a lot of these influencers just like they're not really fucking going after each other. But also too, on the flip side, both these motherfuckers have a lot of money.
A full-blown feud, more of a flex off. But
Would never spend $200K on a watch. If you were in that space, it's hard to say what you would buy. It is. I'm just saying. You make that much money, you'd be surprised what kind of money you'd be wasting. Like what you feel like you'd be wasting in comparison to where we are now. Very true. I'd buy hookers and blow. At that point, would you wear it or preserve the watch? So for me, if I'm collecting watches like that, I'm preserving them. It's all based out of the idea of like, I would rather have $100,000 sit in a rare collector's item in a box than $100,000 sit in a bank account. A lot of people think that these guys are just all fucking retarded and like, they're just throwing their money into watches and they have money just sitting in accounts guys, most of their money is also invested. So while these individuals have made millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars from streaming for X amount of time and all these years, they have so much money making them money every single fucking month.
in 2022, xQc's breakup with streamer Adapt went from personal to
I forgot about that.
You're delusional. Get some.
Yeah, when you're rich, it's just different, man. It's different when you have $100 million invested into something to where it's making you millions of dollars in profit a year just from having that much cash. It's insane. Over 200K watches are like Bitcoin based. Yeah. It's just like, what's your taste of investing? It's no different than like the cars that we just seen. Like he showed a Porsche GT3 RS, right? The thing is, if you buy a Porsche that's hit somewhat of a depreciation, if you spend $280,000 on that car, you can drive it for like 2 to 3 years and sell it and get what you paid out of it.
Help.
She filed a common law marriage claim in British Columbia. She argued they shared finances. Court documents showed she wanted half of xQc's assets. This case froze some of xQc's accounts, his McLaren was temporarily seized, and for months, the legal battle hovered in the
That's
background.
insane.
But they eventually settled out of court.
I wonder how much she
Rumors
got.
Suggested that X paid a 7-figure sum to finally end it. By mid-2024, xQc's estimated net worth was around $550 million.
That's insane.
His yearly earnings alone outpaced entire careers. Compared to his peers, Kai Cenat, 14 to 18 million. FaZe Banks, 10 to 20 million. Ninja, 50 million. And Ludwig, 15 to 20 million.
Just thinking about that number is insane.